Squinch with another video review. And thanks to the folks at Head Robots, I'm very happy to bring you their fourth release, the Dark Warrior known as Blood. Now Blood, as you can see, in true Head Robots form, is a replacement head for the Bludgeon figure. The Bludgeon figure whose head always looked pretty retarded. This thing looks fantastic. Now granted, mine actually has a little bit of customization done to it. The actual Head Robots people decided to send me a done-up version of the head, which I'll explain to you how to get it looking that way yourself. But this is just an absolutely beautiful looking piece. You can see here on the back you got the instructions. You do have two versions of the head. It just kind of rotates. You can see there's one version and there's the other one without the mouth. So you can decide which head you actually want to display your figure as. And I think that's fantastic. I love the artwork on here. That just looks amazing. I really almost kind of wish that the figure looked like that. I mean, he's got a very kind of narrow waistline where his is kind of big and fat. But then you spin around here on the back, and like I said, it actually has the instructions for you to actually do your modification to the figure itself. What you want to basically do is on the back, and it's kind of hard to see. I actually already removed the screws, but using a very small screwdriver, there's little tiny screws here and on the opposite side. You may have to go in on a little bit of an angle to actually get it, because this little bit right here kind of gets in the way, unfortunately, of having a direct straight line. But you'll be able to unscrew them. And then once you unscrew them, and again, like I said, there's a screw hole on the other side here as well, which I'm trying to get the light to hit it. You can kind of see it right there. Once you do that, you can take the head and you can pop the head off. Come on, get off, head. And once you get the head off, I mean, you can just put this back together. You can put the screws back in there and you can save this. But this is how the old head looked. And this is really kind of goofy looking. In my honest opinion, I mean, that just really does look terrible. It's not a very good looking head at all. You come around here to the package, just open this up. Remove the card a little bit. And again, that's a really cool looking picture. I mean, that's almost like a collectible piece in itself. I'm going to set that right there. Then we have the new head. You have two new swords that are chromed, which are fantastic. And this little bit right here kind of replaces the cannon bit that I'll show you here in a minute. But highlighting this first, this is a little bit of a dagger. Now, unfortunately, when I got this figure, it was one of those early release figures, and it didn't come with the original dagger. I looked all over the place, and it absolutely did not come with it. Now, you can open this up, and this little dagger right here can still slide in there perfectly fine, still close up, and store very nicely. Or you can open it up, slide it out, and in his very gumpy sort of hands, you can have him hold this dagger. I kind of like having him hold it like this, as if he's going to be stabbing someone. So that's very cool. Now the other sword that he comes with replaces this gizmo. This gets in there really tight. Come on, get out of there. Stupid. Okay, so here's that sword. I really don't like this sword. This one is just so much nicer. It is shorter. The blade is the same length, but the actual handle is smaller. Now, you can take this, and when you actually transform them, well, think of something. Yeah, it goes like that. When you transform them, that's the actual cannon, so it kind of replaces that, and that's basically what you have right there. So this can actually still slide all the way down in there, store very nicely, and then like I said, that covers the top of it to kind of give the tank turret still look, and that looks wonderful. And then when that's not in possession there, you can take this and it'll actually peg right in there and kind of store right on his backside. But just take this out, and obviously because this is a chrome, it's a lot more rigid of a plastic, so you do want to be a little bit more careful. I mean, it could snap, whereas this is a very soft, rubbery kind of plastic. Take that hand, stick it in there. Very cool. With his dagger and his now much better looking sword. And now here's his face. Now his face actually has had a wash effect done to it. If you look in the video description, I detail exactly how to get this effect. Now, if you actually order this, it's not going to come looking like this. It's going to be very kind of white. This is the regular coloring of it. And you can see, maybe you can't see because it's kind of white, And I don't know how well that's going to come across, but that's the normal look for it. That's the washed effect on it. It just really kind of brings out the details on the lines and such. Very cool. And as you can see, there are two different versions. You just rotate whichever one that you want. That looks more of a robotic look, I suppose. Flip that around, and that's more humanoid looking. But I mean, honestly, how can you even compare the original head with the upgrade? This is just far better looking than this thing. Just absolutely blows the original head away. Now, like in true Head Robots fashion, all you really have to do is come around here. You got the little nub on here, and you got little holes. Just take this, pop it in there, and now you have a brand new head and a completely new look to this bludgeon figure that, because of the previous head, really kind of meh. This just looks absolutely wicked now. I really do love the way that this looks. This figure really was banished to my storage for a very long time. It just wasn't a very good looking figure. It just didn't look great to me. But this head really makes it stand out. I mean, it's like Skeletor and Transformers combined. Now, unfortunately, because of the extra side bits here, his head really doesn't rotate as much. I mean, you kind of get a little bit like that. Not a heck of a lot. But the sheer look of this head is so much better. I mean, it kind of bobbles a little bit, but if you had that pushed down, I mean, it's not coming off. There's no way that that's coming off. It's secure on there. Now, if you want to, you can just lift this up. You can rotate this little bit all the way around. Take this and plug that right back down. And you have another look for them, which this doesn't look too terribly bad in my opinion. Like I said, it looks a little bit more robotic. I really do kind of prefer this one though. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it looks so menacing and creepy. But I really do love the way that that looks. Now I'm not going to do a full transformation for this, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to take these knives out, and these swords and such. The head actually still fully transforms. Now all you have to do is kind of give this a little push down here, and you can see that the head, well, that piece comes off. You got to be a little bit careful when you're doing it. That still slides up, and you can still fully transform this figure. Now, like I said, in terms of his tank mode, normally this would be slid all the way inside here, which is always a bit of pain in the butt to get in. And that was how his cannon kind of looked. And I always I hated how that looked. It was like a completely different color. Now, you take that, you slide that in, and you have storage for the sword, and then this little bit here comes on here, and that slides over. Now, granted, that's a little bit loose, and it's a little unfortunate that that doesn't stay on, but you could probably actually thicken that up. But again, it's a cannon. I mean, why would you be holding your tank upside down like that? I guess, but that does kind of suck. I mean, that rotates around and shouldn't spin like that, but at least that now matches the color and looks a hell of a lot better. Now you can also take this, slide this, and you can still put this guy in here, and now everything does store except that keeps coming off, and now you have a much better looking tank instead of this gray bit here hanging off the side. And that's really kind of cool. I really do appreciate that, and I really do like how much better that makes this tank look. In my opinion, Head Robots really has come through yet again. Taking a toy that I honestly really did not care too much about and giving it brand new life and allowing me to take it out of storage and actually put it on my shelf to display proudly. Now, the only unfortunate thing about this set is, like I said, the face that you're gonna get doesn't really actually look that good. You have to do a little extra work to make it look that awesome. But as I said, in the description there are instructions on how to actually do it, and it's very simple. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do it because it would have made the cost for this actually go up, because every individual one would have to have been painted, and in doing so raise the cost of the overall product. Adding the chrome swords and dagger by itself should have increased the cost for this set, but luckily Head Robots was able to actually keep the price still down to the original release of the previous Head Robot figures. So if you're really interested in making this figure, the bludgeon figure itself, shine and look fantastic, I highly recommend picking up the Blood upgrade set. Honestly, without a doubt, probably my favorite release from Head Robots thus far. So until next time, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.